What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Titanium Vault. I'm your host, RJ Bates III, and today I'm flying solo. I had a message to start the new year for you guys, and it's a message about failure. So today I had someone stop by my office. I had an opportunity to talk to a couple of students inside of our community, and there's these conversations about failure and it getting to them and it impacting their ability to succeed, to want to continue, to have that drive to continue to talk to sellers and try to solve problems and wholesale properties, what we do on a daily basis, right? And what was interesting is as I continued to dive deeper into their failures and why they were feeling like they were failures, it's because they were not understanding what happens on a daily basis inside of our business is more failure than success. Success is actually a very small part of what we do as real estate investors. So let me break this down for you. Utilizing the number one lead generating tactic we have right now, which is lead solo, inbound YouTube ads, where it's a pay-per lead model. We're paying like $100, $129 per lead. Let's say we buy 100 of those and we're absolutely crushing it. We're closing 1 out of every 10, just using a round number. Okay. So we buy 100, we get 10 contracts. Out of those 10, let's assume 70% of those make it to the closing table. So we get 7 successes. That means we got 93 failures. And here's the thing. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in the 3 terminations that we forget about the 7 successful closings. And that's on the best lead generation tactic that we have right now. If you dive deeper into let's pull data and let's cold call, you're talking about thousands of failures to get to a success. If you're going to go even deeper to direct mail, you're literally crushing it if you've got a 1 to 2% response rate, which means 99% of your list is not even going to communicate with you. 99% of the postcards and like letters that you're sending out, they're not even going to respond to you. Our business is founded upon dealing and handling failures. You have to understand that failure does not mean that you're failing. It's how quickly can you move past the failures and be efficient with your time, your effort, your energy, and your resources to find the successful moments. This is what enables successful wholesalers. They don't sit there and ponder upon their failures. They're moving on from it quickly and efficiently, and they're finding a way to say, okay, I know for a fact that we're going to have a fallout rate somewhere between 30 to 40%. That's an average nationwide virtual wholesalers contract to close fallout rate. Okay. Hey, 30 to 40% of the contracts we're going to get are not going to close. Why? Because the property condition is going to be worse than what was anticipated. There's going to be title issues. We're not going to be able to find a buyer. Whatever the reasons are, you cannot get stuck on that. You have to find a way to disconnect yourself from that failure so you can continue down the path to find your success. Otherwise, you are forever going to get stuck on it, and your small failures will inevitably become the ultimate failure. Here's the thing. When I look at our business, I'm never afraid to fail, whether it's a marketing campaign, whether it's dollars that we're investing into the business through hiring a virtual assistant, an actual assistant, a transaction coordinator, whatever it is. We have a commitment that we make to that. And the failures that come along are opportunities for us to get better, not to move away from whatever commitment we made. So often I hear people watch my videos. They watch me close deals live utilizing LeadZolo, Speed Lead, going back to the texting days with batch leads. And they decide they want to try to replicate that. And because initially, right out of the gates, they don't see the same types of success, they taste a little bit of failure. Instead of learning from those failures, they give up on the opportunity that was presented to them, the opportunity to learn from those failures and ultimately find the success. Or mindset wise, they can't overcome the fact that their business is riddled with failure. That is by nature what your business is going to be consumed by as a wholesaler. It's just numbers. We have a saying here at Titanium Investments, it's math, not magic. And it's the same thing here. Anytime you make an investment into a lead generating tool, a system, a new hire, whether, just personnel, HR, whatever it is, there's math associated with that investment. And you have to understand that ultimately it's not always going to win. So the failures are going to be there. So today's message is that failure does not have to be your ultimate failure. It's not the destination. It's part of the journey. How you handle that, how you overcome that is imperative to you ultimately finding the way to succeed and not allowing that to become toxic to your mindset, your ability to get on the phone and talk to other sellers. Part of my message today to those students inside of our community is so a termination in the middle of nowhere, Alabama, that ended up being a teardown property and had no lot value, impacted your ability to talk to another seller that could be losing their house due to pre-foreclosure, back taxes, a lien, bankruptcy, whatever it is. There's no way that that should have impacted your ability to continue down that path. That's just part of the game that we play. And you have to find a way to overcome that no matter what. One failure does not mean ultimate failure. Failure is part of the journey. Think about that. Failure is part of the journey. It's part of what we do inside of our businesses. And honestly, it's part of what makes this enjoyable. It's part of what makes this a business that many cannot do. I am not one of those guys that says, hey, every single person out there should wholesale real estate. I don't believe that. I believe that there is a skill set that is involved with this. Problem-solving skill set, the ability to overcome failures, the ability to sit there and run numbers on properties. Some people are just not flat out not good at math. They want it to be magic, but it's not. So ultimately, when you are looking at your business and you're struggling and you're having failures, look back at it and have you really given yourself the opportunity to see, is this strategy, is this marketing campaign actually failing? Or is it the fact that a simple small failure that should have been anticipated paralyzed me, hindered the rest of the campaign's ability to perform, to succeed? Case in point, I said, hey, LeadZolo, 100 leads. In the past month, I have no joke talked to at least 20 people that have said, hey, I bought some leads from LeadZolo. I've gotten about 10, and a lot of them are rural, and I'm struggling with comping, and there's no buyers. Does this strategy actually work? You've only had the opportunity to talk to 10 people. That is not enough. You would never say, if you pulled a list of 100 people inside of batch leads and skip tracing and cold called them, that that's enough people for you to understand if cold calling works or not. Why? Because the math tells us that failure is to be anticipated with this business. And there's not enough data for us to understand if the campaign is failing or succeeding. So don't let these small failures keep you away from your ultimate goal, what you're trying to achieve, because that small failure does not mean it is ultimately you failing across the board. That is the message I wanted to get across to anyone that is listening to this, because I'm seeing it specifically today. Maybe it's the start of the new year. Maybe it's just, hey, the message of RJ's going out doing these paper lead models and he's getting one of every 7 leads is a contract. But it's like I told them, I don't ever stop what I'm doing because I'm worried about, hey, that contract fell out. We had to terminate. There was title issues. We weren't able to find a buyer. That will never stop me. Failure is part of running a business, and specifically running a wholesaling business. It's a massive part of what we do. You have to find a way to be okay with failure so you ultimately don't fail. Let me know if this message resonated with you. I kind of got away from the solo podcast here for a while. I've been having a lot of guests come in and do those interviews, but I know that you guys love these types of messages. I've seen the comments. I've seen people, tagging me in posts and saying, man, thank you for actually talking about this. Because ultimately, these small little mindset shifts can be what take you from flopping around, searching for unicorns, utilizing all these different marketing efforts, changing systems, not finding any consistency, and just understanding, hey, just be okay with a little bit of failure in your business. It's to be expected. If you like today's episode, leave us a 5-star review. We're going to get back to the interviewing people. I know you guys like those. I like those. I love hearing what other people are doing to succeed in their business. So we'll get back to those. But today's message, failure is failure. It doesn't have to be your ultimate destination, though. Just enjoy the ride and learn from it. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you.